Back to another episode of SMS Games Talk, and this is the PlayStation Portal review. And I got the PlayStation Portal 2 months after release, so I have been using it for quite a while. But I am going to watch two trailers that are seamlessly just the same. But and then after the trailers, I'll give my honest opinions and review on using it. So as you can see here, this thing is just what I'm just using remote play, PlayStation remote play. I love how it's got the haptic feedback. You're asking him why wouldn't it be? Still?
PlayStation.
It's very great to go agents to put that all in there though. That's concealed. So I'm just going to leave it on that. But as you can see, all the reviews are, giving it, like IGN and all the rest of it, are giving it really good reviews. And me using this for the longest time, 2 months after release, and of course, once I knew what this was about, I jumped on it straight away. Like, my honest reviews and opinions on using the PlayStation Portal, I have only ever experienced one dropout the whole time. And for the UI and the chip being specifically built for it, I mean, I love this thing and I highly recommend it. If I was to give it a Metacritic score out of 10, I'd definitely be giving it an 8. The only reason why I'm not giving it any higher than an 8 is because it does exactly what you expect it to do, which is great, but do I feel like it could be better in some areas? I don't know. I just feel like maybe they could have given you, I don't know, maybe the menu setup or something like that could have been just a bit more fresh, a little bit more different. I know it's just connecting to remote play, but it's just me being fussy. But other than that, though, it's not the most perfect handheld. I know everybody goes to when are we getting the new PS Vita or the new PSP. Like you see some comments saying, still waiting for the PSP. And don't get me wrong, for what the PSP and the PS Vita did, and before I even got this, I was... that's why I got the Nintendo Switch even, because I was looking for good handhelds, and I was even going to actually get the PS Vita before I learnt that Sony completely just shut down shop, and then they weren't doing any more support for it. There wasn't any games. Like, this thing was obsolete. To Sony, the PS Vita was completely obsolete, and I loved it and I was literally going to buy one, but then when I'm like, well, they abandoned it. There's no more updates for it. They're not releasing any more games or any games supported for it. They're going completely in this whole remote play digital world. This whole thing of digital. So I completely brought into the PlayStation Portal, and I am more than happy that I did. But you will never see Xbox or Microsoft go out of their way to do anything like this, which I really wish that they did, though. Because I know that the handhelds and the portable consoles, it's a very competitive market, but it's also not a very popular market anymore. Not like it used to with the PSPs and the PS Vitas. It's really, I feel, gone downhill, but I do appreciate the fact that Sony is still doing things like this in terms of, like, supporting their newer consoles. Like, it's always exciting when a new console, like, especially for me, when Sony comes out with the newest PlayStation, and then they do things like this, and they drop accessories like the 3D Pulse headphones and the little earbuds that are like AirPods and the media remote, and then you've also got the PlayStation Portal. Like, I feel like they're really supporting what they're dropping. Like, they're saying our consoles, like the PlayStation 5 console, whether it's the base model, the Slim, or the Pro, we provide more than enough support for that, even to the fact that we even dropped the PlayStation Portal, which is a complete remote player, and a lot of people hang some shit on it because it's not a PSP. That's not what it is. Obviously that's not what it is. But for what it's worth, this thing is great. I experienced only one dropout, one Wi-Fi dropout connection loss, and that was it. And that was literally just because I was using my mobile personal hotspot. So I was just using my phone's hotspot, and that was when I experienced a dropout. And I was in a shoddy area too, so I was in where my phone wasn't even having the best signal. But normally, like when you're in the middle of the city or you're in a town or something like that, even using mobile hotspot, and this is just my experience, some people may have experienced it to be very trashy or very bad, but again, this is just my experiences and my opinions on it. It even connects really good. And I've got an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and when I do my personal hotspot to my PlayStation Portal, it still works very well. Now, it may be a bit pixelated at times, and like I may have experienced where it gets a bit laggy or latency, or, it's not as good. But overall, like out of 10, overall, from mobile hotspot, from my own experiences, again, it has been a good, decent 7 or 8 out of 10. Like I haven't, not even a Wi-Fi connection loss, not even on mobile hotspot. It's done me really good. And with the updates they keep doing, are not like groundbreaking or anything, but every time I see there's an update for the PlayStation Portal, I always appreciate that. Because it's this ongoing support for the device that makes me feel like, well, this is still very much important to Sony. They're not just up and abandoning it 6 months or a year or 2 years after release. They're still very much aware and know that this thing still needs support and this thing is still worth updates. Some people may jump on their Xbox or their PlayStation, their laptop, whatever it may be, and they get very annoyed that things need to be updated all the time. And trust me, it does get annoying having to update, but for the PlayStation Portal, I am completely there for it. Every single update, I'm appreciative of it because it means there's this ongoing support. If I went in here and I noticed there was no update for the PlayStation Portal for like a full year, I would start to get worried because I'd start to think, ooh, are they starting to abandon this, And I don't want them to because it works so great for what it is and for what it's worth. Here in Australia, I'm going on AUD dollars. It was a bit pricey. It was like, you can pick up a PlayStation 5 console if you look around, like $600-700, but the PlayStation Portal was like over $300. It was like $330, $340 from EB Games from memory. And I did say to myself, this is a bit pricey for just a remote player when you could just essentially, just stomach it, remote play from your phone, remote play from your iPad. And that's essentially what I was doing before the PlayStation Portal came out. Was I got an iPad Pro because I saw somebody do it so effortlessly. Sorry, I stuffed the words there, but you know what I mean. And they had it on a magnetic stand. They had their iPad Pro on a magnetic stand, and it just looked like it was just floating there in the air, just this screen floating in the air, and they were able to connect their controller up, their PS5 controller up, and it looked so good, and I got so jealous. So I went out and I did the exact same thing. And the problem and the issue that I had using my iPad for the remote play was it just having to charge my iPad all the time, because it did juice it. It did take a big portion of the battery, and then also having to have the controller be charged too was just like, I know first world problems, but still, it was just annoying. To me, it was annoying having to always have my iPad on charge, always having to make sure that my DualSense controller needed to be charged. And even then, I didn't always like using my DualSense controller because I've only got one controller for my PS5 because I'm the only one that plays it. So I know I need to get some more controllers. But I essentially just ended up getting a DualShock, so a PlayStation 4 controller, and just using that for remote play. And at one stage, I had the backbone one with my iPhone XS Max for my Xbox remote play, and then I had my iPad Pro and a PS4 controller for my PS5 remote play on my iPad. So it just got, to me it was a bit tedious. To me it was a bit annoying having to charge the iPad and also make sure the controller I was using was charged as well. It just got very annoying. And then at night time, when everyone's sleeping, I would also have to Bluetooth headphones to my iPad, which was, to me, that was annoying, because then I would have to not only charge my iPad, I'd have to charge my iPad, the PS4 controller, and my headphones. And it just, having to charge 3 things just to do one thing was very tedious, was very annoying. So then when I saw that they were releasing the PlayStation Portal, I said to myself, that's great. I absolutely love that. I absolutely love the fact that this is not only a controller, but it's a screen in the middle of a controller, and this is way better than the backbone one, because this whole thing is just one portable device. And when it comes to headphones, I was completely okay, and even now I'm still okay with using wired headphones, because then I don't need to charge my headphones, because I can just pop the AUX cord in to the headphones and then into the PlayStation Portal, and bang, there you go. So I can play it at night when everyone's sleeping, so I don't disrupt people in their sleep. And I can also have that I can get my, any third-party headphones, or even my 3D Pulse headphones that I use for my PS5. I can even put the AUX cord in them and then stick it into the PlayStation Portal, and there you go, right? And only having to charge one device it just made all the difference. It really did. I went from, again, charging 3 devices, my headphones, PS4 controller, and iPad Pro, to now only having to charge the PlayStation Portal device itself. So to me, it was a lot more convenient. It was a lot more easier. And the fact that it was built specifically for the PlayStation Remote Play is what made it so much better too, is because it's built for that, which means, you're not getting all this latency, you're not getting all this lag, you're not getting all this, Wi-Fi connection dropouts and stuff. So for what it's worth, it works really, really good. And the times that it doesn't work, it's not the PlayStation Portal's fault, it's not Sony's fault. It's literally just got to do with your Wi-Fi connection. And the ongoing support of updates, I deeply do appreciate. So, yeah, I can't compliment this anymore than... I never like giving things a real 10 out of 10 unless it is 100% worth it. And this is scratching the surface of it. I do feel like it could be better in some parts in terms of... I feel like the battery could be better. If you... For example, if you take the battery out of an iPhone 16 Pro Max or an iPhone 15 Pro Max, and you take how these things are so good on battery life, if you were able to stick their battery, not their battery, but you know what I mean, their battery performance and how great they are, and you're able to stick that same performance into the battery of a PlayStation Portal, where you're getting complete, my iPhone 15 Pro Max doesn't need to be charged for the whole day, and I could be watching YouTube videos, I could be editing videos, uploading videos to YouTube, I could be doing a whole bunch of things, Insta, Facebook, Snap, you name it. I could be doing all this stuff, recording, editing, uploading videos. I could be playing games on my phone, and it was still, the battery performance holds up pretty damn good. Not perfect, but pretty good, like a good 8 out of 10 good, So, even a 9 out of 10. And if you had that same battery performance in a PlayStation Portal, this thing would be like a 9.5, almost a 10 out of 10. It's literally the battery that I feel lets me down. I am getting a number of hours out of the Portal, don't get me wrong. But I feel like for what it was built for, they should have had a better battery in it. And I'm not saying the battery's shocking. I'm not saying it's awful. I'm also not saying it's the best thing ever. To me, the battery is mid. You know, it just gets a bit annoying how you'll be in the middle of gameplay and you're really immersed in it, and then it needs to be charged. You know, and I'm not 100% sure because I haven't really done this. I think you can play it while it's being charged too, but again, it's a bit annoying having a cord sticking out like two from the bottom. One to charge it with the USB-C cable, and then another one for your AUX for your headphones. So, you know, and people just say, well, why don't you get the new fancy ones that are compatible with the PlayStation Portal? Because then you have to charge them. Like, in terms of conveniency and stuff, like how convenient something is, I don't like using when it comes to these type of remote play things, whether it's Xbox or whether it's PlayStation. Whether it's using my iPhone XS Max on the Backbone 1 for my Xbox, or whether it's using the PlayStation Portal for my PS5. I don't like using Bluetooth headphones because that's just another thing to charge. And to me, it's not convenient at all because it's just another thing that you have to go out of your way. I know first world problems. I know it's not that much big of an issue. I'm not trying to make it, blow it out of proportion or try and make it be this big, huge issue. All I'm trying to say is, if it's one less thing to worry about, if literally all you have to do is just pull the AUX cord out of your headphones in the PlayStation Portal and then just wrap it up with a lacquer band, and it's one less thing to worry about, one less thing to charge, that's the way I'm doing it. You know, I don't want to have to go out and spend $300, $400 on these new fancy earpods. It's just another thing I have to charge. And it broke my bank by $300, $400. Again, AUD dollars I'm talking. Australian dollars, things get GST and taxed up the arse here. So when you hear Americans with their USD dollars whinging about how a game is $90, come over to Australia, your $90 game will be $140 for us. Or your $20 DLC will be a $60, you know, I know I'm not doing, I'm not doing the conversions right, but I'm just saying it feels like it's that bad for us. That when you have whingy, whiny Americans that will have a cry about how their DLC is $20, try coming over here to Australia and then paying $80 for something that cost you guys $20, $30. Like, I know money's different, but still, it's shocking. The price of games and the differences. Americans is like, oh shit, this is $80, so this is $90 game, it shouldn't cost this much. It's like $140 for us, so I don't know what you're... Sometimes that's before that might be the mid edition. That's not even the ultimate gold deluxe edition yet. Then you're up $200. Like, for example, COD is shocking price. Pretty sure that's up over $200. I don't know which one's more shocking when it comes to COD. The freaking price of the game, or how many gigabytes and how long it takes to bloody download for half the shit you're not even going to play and use in the game, you know? Like, I'm a campaign guy, so I play through the campaign. I'm not multiplayer. I only do multiplayer if I don't know. I just feel like there's a bunch of dickheads on there and it's not worth it. And also, I like to play at my own pace, not with a bunch of people who are going to tell me how they fuck my mum or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's... There's ruin it for the majority, and also you got too many good players on there. I'd rather just play at my own pace. But again, this comes back to the PlayStation Portal. Playing things like Gran Turismo 7. Being able to play God of War. And even me, I'm a very big WWE guy. So playing the WWE 2K games effortlessly on the PlayStation Portal. It just free flows and it's so effortlessly, and having the haptic feedback controls just feels so nice. It's one of those things that when I pick up a PS4 controller, so a dual shock controller versus a dual sense controller, I'm just so used to the haptic feedback. I'm so used to the triggers and everything, how it fires off, how it goes. Even games that don't support that, still, it's the feeling of the PS5 controller. Then you go back to the Dual Sense. The Dual Shock. I'm still trying to. The Dual Shock is the PS4 controller. The Dual Sense is the haptic feedback fancy PS5 controller, which I love how the D-pads and stuff and how everything's got like on the PS5 controller like this glassy gloss appearance too. And that's also what I love, the fact that they literally just chopped the PS5 controller up, stuck a nice screen in the middle of it, and then said, here you go, right? There's your PlayStation Remote Play at the best capabilities of what it can be, and the recent updates every now and again, just to make sure we haven't forgotten about it and we're keeping on top of it. But this whole digital world that we're going into, the PlayStation Portal makes the most sense of having. And that's why I wish Xbox would do something like this. They never would. I feel like Microsoft with their Xbox, I would be perplexed. I'd be amazed if they ever had the balls to chop an Xbox controller in half and stick a fancy screen in the middle of it. And there's probably plenty of people that may have done that. I haven't looked into it, but I'm just saying, like, to me, and for me personally, I know everyone would jump on and be like, this is the biggest waste of money. It's just Xbox doing the same thing, the same shit PlayStation did with their Portal. And I'd be like, well, why the hell not? It worked for PlayStation, why wouldn't it work for Xbox? It's literally just providing more support for their remote player. Even though Xbox does their remote play and promotes the arse out of Game Pass with it, but still. It's like PlayStation's like, we want top dollar for Call of Duty Black Ops 6, and then Xbox is like, fuck you, Sony, we've released it on Game Pass for free. You're paying for the Game Pass. Play COD Black Ops 6 day one on Game Pass. If you've got an Xbox and a PlayStation, it's a no-brainer. Why wouldn't you go and Game Pass? Like, seriously. If you've got the storage for it, by the way, if you haven't had to delete 7 or 8 games to make room for it, but that's also another thing, is console storage is just shocking. Why do they ever think they can get away with releasing a 500 gigabyte console? And this is from PlayStation and from Xbox, from Sony and Microsoft. Like, how do they... Like, I know what they're doing. They want you to buy their freaking extended storage devices and their thing with their heatsink and get this and that, external hard. It's a bunch of bullshit. If they wanted to, they could release a fucking console with bloody 2 terabytes if they wanted. They could release one with 4 terabytes if they wanted to. But you wouldn't want them to do that, because they would jack the price of that console up like they do with freaking these new smartphones and shit. The more terabytes it is, the more it costs. So everybody is being all like, oh shit, the PlayStation 5 Pro. It's a 1 terabyte console. And here in Australia, it costs us over $1,000 just for the console alone. That's not with the stand. That's not with the disc tray. And then if you turn that 1 terabyte for the PS5 Pro into a 4 terabyte console, I bet you they would be asking you over $2,000 for that bloody thing. I'm waiting for it. That's the only thing that I don't like with the new release of newer consoles, is that the price just goes up. Imagine when the PlayStation 6 releases. Like, here in Australia, that's going to be up over $1,000. Then you have to go through all that bullshit with the scalpers, and you have to wait for that to die down. All the scammers and everything. Like, I know I've gone so off track from the PlayStation Portal, but I will double back and say, even when it comes to things like the PlayStation Portal, will that be supported when they do eventually release the PlayStation 6 console? Like, to me, they've gone through everything that they could possibly go through with the PlayStation 5 at this point. Right? They've released the 2 base models of the PlayStation 5, the digital edition, the disc edition. Then they released 2 editions of the PlayStation 5 Pro. Again, digital and disc editions. And then they released, the PlayStation 5 Slim, I should say. So PS5 base models, digital and disc. PlayStation 5 Slim, digital and disc editions. And then the PlayStation 5 Pro, which is just a digital edition, but can be altered with the disc tray being added. So to me, the PlayStation 5 Pro is just a digital edition. Unless you want to make it into the disc edition, that's optional, obviously. But they've done everything. They've released 2 base models, 2 slim models, and the PS5 Pro. Plus, they've released 3 different types of headphones for it. So 3D Pulse headphones, the earbud ones, and the ones with the mic attached and stuff. And then they've got the media remote, the PlayStation Portal. They've done everything. The only thing that PlayStation can do from now is release the PlayStation 6. I may be shocked. They may release another PSP Vita 2, or something like that. They may do that. I don't know if they're gonna get back into the handheld market. Rumors are saying apparently that they are. I don't know. That's just rumors. It could be just a bunch of fan theory made up shit. I don't know. But I love the PlayStation 5. I love the PlayStation Portal, and I'm more than happy with what I've got. I'm more than happy that there is more than one option to remote play. And this being a device that is specifically made for the PS5's remote play just makes me so happy. And the fact that it works so well as well, it's so easy and so convenient too. Because you can just put it in a case and there you go, right? As long as you're charging that PlayStation Portal, you're good to go. That's the only thing that I can say bad about the PlayStation Portal. And why it gets an 8 out of 10 is because the battery could be better. That's my only nitpicky thing about it. The battery does last a couple of hours, but it still could be better. It could have better life performance in the battery. Now, I don't know, and that's also another thing that I wish that they would do as well, that also makes it an 8 out of 10, is the fact that I feel like not only could the battery be better, but I like how Apple implements how you can look at your battery health. You know, whether you can see whether it's at 85%, 90%, like how damaged your battery is. The PlayStation Portal should do that. You know, because it's a rechargeable battery operated device. And anything that's a battery operated device that's portable should have a battery health percentage like Apple. It shouldn't just be an Apple thing, it should be in everything. Everything that's portable, everything that's a rechargeable battery thing should have it. Should allow you to go into the settings and see your battery health percentage. So whether you know how damaged it is. For example, if you just have to replace your whole PlayStation Portal, which is a bunch of bullshit, but I don't know how you get battery replacements on a PlayStation Portal, whether you take it into your nearest GameStop, EB Games, wherever you are, you know. You take it into your nearest gaming store and maybe that they can do a battery replacement on that. You know, see, the thing is, you got all these smartphone repair specialists, but I don't feel like there's many people that do console repairs or that do, you know, repairs on things like handhelds, like the PlayStation Portal or Steam Deck or the Nintendo Switch. And if there is, I need to look into it more. And maybe I'm a stupid dope that just hasn't paid attention to it. But I don't hear about it a whole lot, is what I'm saying. Nowhere near as much as smartphone fixes people and stuff. Maybe they can do the same thing. I'm not too sure. Maybe they just specialize in smartphones. But, yeah, I would love if they did that. If they not only had a better battery and it lasted longer, but they had a battery health percentage where they would be able to let you know how damaged your battery is. So you know roughly, like, if your battery's starting to go all shoddy, the reason why you know or how you know, is by looking at it like you do on iPhones and saying, well, that's why my battery's performance is not as great as what it was when it was brand new, you know? And I'm the type of person where I don't let it just sit. You know, some people may go and get a snack, might go get a full meal and just, tap the power button and leave it in like a rest mode state. And I never do that. I always just play it, and if I need to put it down, then I'll disconnect it, I'll turn the whole thing off. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I'm trying to preserve the battery. I don't want to damage it. I'm very, battery paranoid when it comes to that. So, anything to do with, abusing the battery or abusing the power output and stuff, I never like to do that. If somebody tells me, hey, what you're doing is actually damaging that, even though I've kind of gotten into an OCD routine of it, I will still try and retain from doing that. Because I want to preserve the batteries the best I possibly can. And it annoys me that, these batteries get damaged so easily. I feel like they should be made more tougher in terms of, if you're off and on and just putting it on rest mode, or if you're just leaving the screen sit, it shouldn't be damaged just from that alone. It should be built stronger to know that there is some people out there that are going to do that, and the battery shouldn't be damaged because of things like that. Now if you're abusing the device and chucking it around and it's constantly getting back damage where the battery is, well, that's the no-brainer. That's obvious. It's going to be damaged because of that. But just simple things, it shouldn't go downhill because of that. Because it's just basic use in just different ways. But anyway, all in all, though, I love this. I love it. I'm going to continue to use it for as long as Sony is going to continue to provide updates and support for it. It's just, I am so hoping that this isn't a thing where it's like in the next 5 to 10 years, they say, fuck the PlayStation Portal, we're not supporting that shit anymore. We've released 5 or 6 new things that are way better than this. We're not going to do support for that old shoddy tech anymore. And I know everything eventually goes out. I know that there's only, for the time being, it's great for what it is in the time now. But in the next 10 years, there may be something way freaking better than this. But at the same time, I never like being heavily invested in something that I brought thinking it's going to last me forever. And it would have lasted me forever, but the company just decided to shut down all support for that device. And it's like, well, I enjoyed it for what it was worth. I mean, you see it on the App Store all the time. I was playing Mighty Doom. They stopped support for that. I was playing the Crash Bandicoot game, the game that they released. They stopped support for that too. Half Brick and Legitimate Research, Half Brick just completely said, we're going on Apple Arcade with Jetpack Joyride 2. And if you want to play the classic Jetpack Joyride, you still can, but it's not the same as playing the actual classic version. No, you have to pay for a subscription-based Half Brick Plus or whatever it's called. I'm so over that. I'm so sick of it. Is that there's no loyalty to long-term players or long-term people who just love this shit. I want the PlayStation Portal to last me. I want it to be even have support for the PlayStation 6, but for all you know, they're going to say, well, that was just for the PlayStation 5. We released the PlayStation 6, it doesn't hold up. We're going to chop another fucking controller in half and put a screen in it. Buy this new fancy thing. And I would be like, well, fuck it. Fine, I will, but I don't like to. But I will. It's just the fact that this is the old PS5 DualSense controller, or DualShock, whatever the fuck DualSense, right? Just a bit annoying. But I know that all these big companies, all these big brands do it anyway. But I love the PlayStation Portal. Absolutely love it. Wish that they would be able to provide support for it forever. But when the PS6 comes out, this is going to be considered old tech. So they're not going to provide support for it forever. They're just providing support for it for as long as it's relevant. If it's no longer relevant anymore, it no longer gets updates and support anymore. So anyway, I'm riding this out until the sunset, until Sony, cuts the cord essentially on the support and updates for it. But I love this thing. It's the best remote player for PlayStation. Honestly, it beats playing it on your phone, doing remote play for PlayStation 5 on your phone. It beats doing it on iPad Pro. It even beats doing it on your... Like, I'd rather, and this is just my opinion, I'd rather play my PlayStation Portal than even do it on the PS4 and remote play from my PS4, right? Because it's the actual PS5 controller with the haptic feedback, right? On PS4, it's just your PS4 controller, so it's just my personal opinion and hot take. But my Metacritic score, look, I 7 or an 8. Look, I'll give it an 8. It is an 8 out of 10 for what it's worth. But as always, thank you for watching this episode of SMS Games Talk PlayStation Portal review. And as always, if you ain't streaming it, it ain't worth shit. Take care, guys.